Welcome to Soltron. This is a video review for the Hello Carbot, the Braves Canon X. Here's a size comparison. So he's pretty big, maybe like Commander class. And then you can see him with Carbot X. He's about the same size, just a lot bulkier. And here he is with his box art. It's kind of a pretty standard box, but I guess the black gives it like a more mature feeling, the black and gold. So it's a little toned down compared to maybe metal Carbot. And then you can see the back side. Not much that interesting. You've already seen this artwork. And then you can see him in both his modes here in this little corner. And then his other robot you need for the combination. And he comes with two sets of instructions. One is just for the robot itself to transform. And the other set of instructions is for his combination mode. So I guess that's a good way to keep the instructions from getting overwhelming. And then the annoying thing, this guy does come with stickers. Most of these stickers, these black and red ones, go on the gold crest here, which is kind of a waste because I think the chrome gold is actually really pretty. I'm not sure where these red pieces go. Maybe on the wings. On the legs, it looks like the legs, yeah, they go here in this gap right here. So that's kind of annoying that they didn't just paint or color separate all these colors like, you know, a reputable Korean toy company would do. But here's a 360 view of this guy, and he's okay. He's not a terrible looking robot. He's just kind of generic. He just doesn't really have much oomph to him. He's just kind of missing something. He reminds me a lot of like the Energon Wing Saber, which was also kind of a lackluster looking robot on his own. But he's meant to become armor for another robot, so that's understandable. Yep, here they are together. And like even the fans' hobby like couldn't even fix this guy. He's just such a tragic mess. So it's understandable that these guys are going to be kind of ugly just because of their combination. And I think like his massive, long, gangly thighs is definitely a problem. But I mean, he's not too bad. He's definitely better than Wing Saber. So let's take a look at his head sculpt. So he's got like a really interesting thing where his visor covers his nose too. I've never really seen a robot do that. So at least they tried something. And he's got like a humanoid face. Underneath the visor, you can make out his nose, his mouth. You can see his eyes on the side. So not a pretty simple, but I think effective, like helmet. Not bad at all. And then he does come with this role play piece, so you can get his sound bites. You can kind of make out his face on there. It's a little low res, but yeah. And then obviously the other accessory that he comes with are these giant blasters, which have a lot of screw holes on one side, but the other side is not bad. And it is really light. It's just hollow plastic, so not too bad. So the color separation is all from paint. It's not from separate pieces. And then he does have like this rotating. This is more for the other modes, but he is able to rotate this handle. And annoying thing about this handle is it is like 4 millimeters, so this will not fit in any other robot's hands, which is really irritating. Just make it 5 millimeters. Everything else is 5 millimeters. But anyway, he's got a rotating head. There's no ball joint. It's just on a pivot, and then he does have nice spring ratchets, outward motion. So they did not go soft on the ratchets here, so that's nice. He does have these ratchets. These actually might be friction ratchets. He does have bicep swivel, which he really did not need to have, but they put that in there, so that's very nice. He's also got wrist articulation, which again, he really did not. You wouldn't expect that from this figure. It just seems so unnecessary, but it's there, so that's really nice, actually. He doesn't have waist articulation. He does have his standard universal hips, so you're going to get kick in all direction. He's got all this junk on his back, so you're not going to get in that direction. And then he's got 90 degrees on the knee, which is kind of odd because his legs are very hollow. You would think, I think if you just cut this plastic right here, you could easily get like 120 or something on the knee. You could get a lot more bend than that. And then he does have this pivot, more for transformation, but some of that is just for posing. But he doesn't have like actual ankle tilts, unfortunately. And then he's got like this stupid piece which kind of just fits behind his feet. Kind of, it sort of frictions into place, it sort of doesn't. But yeah, surprisingly good articulation. Oh yeah, and he does have his thigh cuts too in these really long thighs. So everything you need is pretty much there. So you can get him in some dynamic poses. And I realize I totally forgot like his shoulder articulation. The pads do move up and down, and you do get 360 on the shoulder maybe, but they're going to crash into his crest here. So you actually cannot get his arms to quite clear around his crest. And he does have all the outward clicking right there as well. So not too bad, but yeah, to transform this guy, of course, we're going to take his guns out of his hands. Just straighten him up a bit. And then you can leave his head out. You could fold that into his chest if you wanted to, but then you have to split him in half, so there's extra parts forming. There is a little bit of parts forming. You do have to take off his chest crest, so it's not too bad. And then you sandwich his legs together. They're all gonna fit in with clips, and then you do have to take off these annoying little things in the back, which don't really want to hang in. It might be because I unscrewed them a little bit, and you'll see why later. And then there's these clips here. Those are just going to clip right into his chest. So you just have him fold in half and then move these knee guards so he can fold his legs backwards. And then those will clip in there. And then these pads actually just stay. You would think you have to fold these down or something, but no, they actually just stay out that way. And then you're just going to basically straighten out his wrists. And then his arms do collapse, like one little click. It doesn't make much difference. Like they telescope barely anything at all. And then that's most of his transformation. And then you're just gonna grab this crest, and it's got this clip and that just clips right here. So you're just gonna fold it up. Just get it in there. And oh yeah, and his bird mouth has this articulation. And then you're going to take the cannons and you're going to flip these here. And then you just want to match up whichever side doesn't have the screws. And then this clip clips into here, and you have to be kind of careful because once these are clipped in, they really do not want to come out. And these already feel fragile because they're so long and skinny. So you should take a little bit of extra care when dealing with these pieces. And then finally, these two clips are going to clip right on the wings here. And there he is. Yeah, it's pretty ugly. Let's be honest. This is not a good alt mode at all. This is like an excuse for an alt mode. He just folds up and then you move the bird head. That's all he really does. His hands just stick out to his sides. He's really just crouching. He's really just like folded in half using his knees. It's not good. It's not good. But I don't know. I guess it's evocative of like the old Brave figures and how simple they were. Maybe that's what they were going for, because even the plastic kind of feels that way because there's not a lot of extra plastic. He's just kind of bare bones. Everything is one layer. There's no layer separation. So yeah, I think maybe they were going for the older style, but he's okay. I don't know why they released this guy first. They should have really released Grand Carbot X first, so you can have that combination, and then you can get excited about buying this figure and adding him to the combination. But at least they came out in like the same week, so that was pretty nice. But yeah, I would not recommend you get this figure at all. There's just no point unless you're going to combine him with Grand Carbot X. Um, there is like one other thing you could do with this guy. Before I get to that, I did get this guy on G Market. Of course, he was, I think, about $85, which is pretty expensive. I guess it's, considering how big he is and the quality of the plastic, I think that's not a bad price, but he is expensive. And there's, like I said, there's no reason you would just get this guy on his own. It's not worth it. But there is like one other thing you can do if you have a lot of blue tack. All right, and if you have enough blue tack and patience, you could put all these pieces together like this. But, yeah, he really doesn't like it. He really, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not really worth the amount of effort you have to put in. And I could mod him so that this would be a permanent fix and it would work. And I think he looks pretty excellent. But everything's just, like I said, everything's just holding on by blue tack. So I saw this on YouTube Shorts and I wanted to try it. I got really excited about it. But yeah, Blast Train's, his joints just aren't gonna do it. It's not gonna work. His hip joints are too weak. His knee joints are too weak. He can't support all this extra weight. It's not gonna happen. So I probably won't go through with this mod, even though, yeah, he looks cool. I'll admit he looks pretty awesome, but it's just not gonna work. So anyway, hope you like that, and I'll see you in the next one.